Hello everyone, this is Kiran and today we are going to learn about white box and black box testing. So this is a very commonly used term again, and the difference between white box and black box will be explained today. So whenever a tester is testing by having knowledge on the internal codings and the logics of the code, he is called a white box tester, and vice versa when the tester is only familiar with the functionality and the business flow of the software, he is called a black box tester. To remember this, let's take an example which will make it very clear, and this confusion will also not be there anymore. So imagine a switchboard. So we'll just quickly draw. So this is a switchboard. So we as the users, we know that if we put this switch on, our electrical appliances will switch on, and if you put it off, it will be off. So that's what we know. We know the business functionality, we know the functionality of the switchboard, right? So we are black box testers in this case, but the electrician, the guy who is well aware about the internal wiring of the switchboard and is completely knowing how is the switch functioning, this guy, the electrician guy, is here the white box tester. So that's how you can remember the difference between the white box testers and black box testers. People who only know the business functionality and the functional flow of the software are the black box testers, but people who are well aware about and who know how to test the internal coding and logics of the software are the white box tester. So white box testing is also known as glass box or open or structural or clear box testing. So these are all names given to the white box testing type. Moving forward, what actually we do verify? So we do verify security loopholes as a white box tester. We do verify the poorly structured path. So the navigation and the path in the coding is tested by the white box testers. We also, as white box testers, verify the specific input through the code. So if there is a certain input and what output will be getting, so the logics are also tested as a white box tester, and of course what are the expected outputs in that case if there's certain inputs. And the conditional loops, there's so many loops we know, like if, else, do, while loop. So all these looping structures are also tested in case of being a white box tester. And statement, object, function and everything else within the code is taken care of by a white box tester. So these are the things which will be tested as a white box tester. So the major types of white box testing is, first is unit testing, which is done by the developers. We know, like often each developer, they test the individual modules which they are actually working upon. So they do testing of that the most initial unit, and that is called unit testing. So basically unit testing helps us identify the bugs in the very early stage in the code, because if a developer himself is able to find out issues in the beginning, it will not go into the integration testing, and that is very useful, that there is very less downward flow of defects. So unit testing is very important in any SDLC, and it has to be done. So that's what is done in unit testing. We also do as white box testers, the testing of memory leaks is a very important concept. Usually memory leaks happen when there is a memory associated to an object, but then it's not freed. So the memory is utilized, but the programmer forgets to free it up, so it gradually decreases the speed and and it hampers the performance of the system, overall system. So finding out memory leaks and removing those leaks from the system is also a task which a white box tester do. It's very important that whatever memory we have allocated as programmer, we should be able to release it, so the memory should not be blocked. So memory leakage is yet another concept which is tested as being a white box tester. Now white box tester also test penetration testing, or does he do penetration testing as well. So this is security testing, so trying to find out the vulnerabilities in the system and trying to break the system through attacking it at the most vulnerable areas is called penetration testing, because it is very important to have a secured system. So in case of critical softwares which need penetration testing, it is one of the most important testing which should be done as to make the system more robust. So yes, penetration testing or white box testing is done. So giving few examples of security loopholes, there can be issues wherein the OTP of imagine there is a software where a person is allowed to log in using the OTP, but somebody is able to bypass the OTP login. As a hacker, somebody is able to bypass that step and is able to log into the system without inputting the mobile number. So that's certainly a security loophole, and that should be taken care of if somebody is able to do that. So these kind of activities wherein the system can be attacked or breached, the protocols can be breached, or whatever protocols have been set to the system, they are able to be broken very easily. So those should be taken care of by doing penetration testing at the right time. And then there is something called mutation testing, which is following the best practices in coding is very important. So as a white box tester, we also make sure that the best practices of coding are followed so that there are less errors, and also the code is maintained and optimized in the best way possible. So for doing that, we have to do mutation testing also. This is also a kind of white box testing, right? So these are the examples of white box testing. Now what is black box? We as we already discussed, that it is a testing type wherein we are not much concerned about the internal coding and logics of the software, whereas we are only concerned about the functionality of the software, the business flow of the software, how the software is working. So if we know end-to-end flow of the software, we term it as a black box testing. So what are the types of black box testing? We do functional testing. What is functional testing? Whenever we try to test the functionality and the functional requirement of a system, it is called functional testing. Non-functional testing is a type of testing wherein we are more concerned about the non-functional aspects of the system, as performance, scalability, volume, and usability, things like that, which is not related to the functionality of the system. We call them non-functional testing. Then regression testing is also a kind of black box testing. We are doing regression testing to make sure that any new changes have not affected the already running software. So that's these are the types of black box testing. Now there are strategies which we follow to perform black box testing. So these are equivalence partitioning, boundary value analysis, decision table testing, state transition diagram. So we have already discussed about these strategies in the previous sessions. So these are the strategies which will be utilized so that we can actually perform black box testing in a better way. There's no hard and fast rule to apply these strategies, but ultimately when you know these strategies, you can think as a black box tester and you'll be able to do better testing. So that's the whole agenda here about knowing these strategies. Now comparison, very important. The comparison between black box and white box, which one to choose, the comparison between black box and white box, which one to choose. So it entirely depends on what all kind of testing we want to do. When we want to focus on the functionality and a non-functional aspect of a software, and if at all we want to do regression testing, we'll be choosing black box testing. But when we have to test the security aspects, when we have to find out memory leakage or mutation testing we want to do, or unit testing is certainly done by the developers, so those kind of testing is required, will be termed as black box testing. So it depends on what phase of the software we are in and what testing we need to do. Accordingly, it will be termed as black box or white box testing. So today we learned about what a white box testing is, what is black box testing, what is the difference between the two types of testing. So today we learned about what a white box testing is. It is also known as clear box, open box, structural and glass box testing, and what all we verify as a white box tester. Then we learned about the different types of white box testing, which are unit testing, penetration testing, memory leakage testing, and mutation testing. And then we also learn about what black box testing is, and what all types of black box testing are available, like functional, non-functional, and regression, and also what all strategies we apply when we do black box testing. So that's all from today. In the later sessions, we'll be learning more about testing. Thank you for now.